Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're bringing back a series that I've been desperately trying to get back into the running, or into like the show weekly schedule. It's just been hard. It's hard to play games. It's hard to know them well enough to like talk confidently about them. I can't even say the phrase. Today we're talking about Marvel United. This is going to be our Right For You, Wrong For You series where we do our very best to break down a game into 7 categories that help us determine, or that we think about when deciding if a game is going to be right for us, or
wrong for you.
There we go. This is going to be Dale the Casual Gamer. First off, sir, not many people have seen you here on the channel before.
Yes. So, I live currently about 3 hours away from you.
Yep.
And got a certain shot, and you said it was okay to visit.
I mean, we've been talking for a little
Yes.
while, trying to collaborate, and since the world's starting to open back up as people are able to make sure that they are immunized, we're in a good position. We have isolated lives, and so we can responsibly get together and talk and play some board games. That being said, that's not what this video is about. This video is about Marvel United. We're going to be breaking this down into 7 categories. We're going to give you an overview of the game, not a how to play or anything, but a general, encapsulation of what this game exactly is. We're going to talk about the theme, accessibility, gameplay, modes of play, innovation, and then finally, the price point, to see if this is one that you want to add to your collection. And this is a bit of a timely video. There is another Marvel United arriving.
Right, so X-Men's coming to Kickstarter soon,
Yep.
and those of us that backed the previous one,
This
that
just got into your
Yes.
hands. You have about a 3-week period to play, experience, dig into Marvel United. The core box has been around for a while, but for
Right.
me, and we'll get into this is where the game shines, and X-Men is going to be adding or increasing that opportunity in that collection. So, this is not a sponsored review. This is not something specific for X-Men. This is talking about the core base Marvel United, but hopefully it'll give you some context for what X-Men is. And along with that, just so everyone else is completely clear, I have done some sponsored videos with Simon for X-Men. So while this video is separate, I do have a working relationship with him, and I've had the opportunity to play 3 games of X-Men already with the designers. So I might be a little bit biased in that regards.
And on the other side, I have no contact with Simon.
True.
I'm
That's
just
true.
a guy that gave him all my money on Kickstarter, and the game has arrived.
Which is why it's important for me to do this review with you, because you're going to say you hate the game, and I'll be biased and say I love it. Is that accurate, or is it probably more nuanced than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let's start with an overview of Marvel United, what exactly this game is. And I'm going to do my very best, see if I miss anything.
I'll
I'm
try.
going to do my very best to sprint through what this is. This is going to be a cooperative card-playing sort of puzzle-solving game where you're doing your very best to manage a hand of your hero cards, going up against a variety of different villains and their villainous plots. Each one will have their own system that you're trying to overcome, but the core basis of the game is going to be playing cards down into a timeline, triggering those effects in different regions on the board, and, most importantly, sequencing your abilities and your card effects with the next person in play, meaning that if I've played a card, you might get to benefit from it. At the end of the day, the main goal is usually to punch your enemy to oblivion, or suffer whatever cataclysmic event happens if someone like Green Goblin or Thanos tends to, descend upon the board.
Yes.
What did I overlook when it comes to what this game is?
I think you hit it on the nail. I mean, it's a cooperative game, and you have to work with other people and talk your way through it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you give me a brief overview of what all we have when it comes to not just core box, but expansions?
Right, so the core box came with just a few of the main Avenger characters.
Yep.
And 3 villains. So each of these expansions allows you to pick up whether you like Thor, Spideyverse, Black Panther.
And we have a whole pile of them off to the
there's
side.
another stack off to the side. So a whole bunch of different villains, heroes to add, and different ways to play.
Yeah, some of the different ways to play. What are some of I know, like, for instance, over here with the Enter the Spider-Verse, we're going to have journalists that'll be moving around the board trying to capture our picture, and it creates a little bit more of a balancing act. I know Thanos and some of those other ones introduce a larger story.
Right, so there's a campaign game in that one to where you want to beat up the smaller minions first and then move on to Thanos. And of course the one I want to play, which I've heard you've already done, is where Loki.
Yep.
Where there might be a
little bit of a hidden traitor in the midst. And so core box Marvel United will give you base game, give you a good puzzle to solve, give you I'd say, excellent introductory game for a family to start with.
It's family and lightweight cooperative game. I've heard some people compare it to Pandemic.
Yeah.
Just in what you're doing, you're trying to work
Escalating
together
tensions.
to stop something going out.
I can see that. I don't know. I like Pandemic a whole lot less than I like Marvel United, but
it's just that basic. You're helping everyone else stop the world from going down.
One of the nice things about this game, when it comes to the overview, is you don't have a public hand of information. So similar to Spirit Island in the way that it hides information and keeps people from controlling alpha gaming the entire board. Marvel United, in a lightweight game, in a lightweight cooperative game, I think that it might do that better than any other lightweight cooperative game I know of.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an overview of what this game is. Let's talk about the theme. What's going on here? For me, this is the most important element of any game. Period. For you, I actually think it's because you don't like flavor text.
True.
But you are known as a Marvel channel.
Yes, comic books, so Marvel, DC, yes. If this did not have a comic book theme on it.
Not entirely. You do a lot of other things over on your channel, but if someone's watching this and they really do love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel comic book series, any of the comic book areas, Champions, Marvel United, and a few other titles and games that you're bringing to your channel soon, that's sort of one of the core things that you play.
Yep, and I'm glad to be known as that person.
Yep.
So, and this is a great introductory. I mean, the art is a little childish, I guess.
Oh, I love the art style.
It's great to introduce younger gamers. So I know we're going to talk on some of those points here shortly. It's got a recommended age range, but I think it will play to a younger group.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of strategy with it, so it might not go the best with a younger person. But
so when it comes to this, for me, flavor text, story, thematics are a central part. And you enjoy the comic book elements, that world that you get to explore. How does this line up when it comes to telling a Marvel story? When it comes to playing Marvel characters, do they feel accurate to what you'd expect them to be? Is it a little bit lighter weight than maybe you'd anticipate?
I think it has a story. So I mean, like if you're playing with Thor, if you just play in this box, unlike what you like to do and mix things up.
Oh, that was fun.
Yes.
That was fun. We have some gameplays coming out.
So, I mean, it puts you in the world. Your locations you're going to go to are going to make sense with Thor's universe and vice versa. If you're playing with Spider-Man, those places are going to make sense. So the story is there. The theme will kind of make there. It just doesn't tell you the story. There are some assumptions you kind of know. Hey, I'm Spider-Man, and high school in this makes sense kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say they have done a pretty darn remarkable job at making every character, every interaction feel unique and feel personal to that character without without an overwhelming amount of narrative or lore or additional iconography or additional rules. This is a very simple game.
Yep, because there are some characters, neither one of us know who they are, but doesn't mean we can't pick them up and play with them.
Yeah, and they feel true, they feel good, and the locations, the areas, everything that's been put into, the customization of this game that's been put into, the way that villains interact with characters, the way that your hero deck cycles, and the 3 different power and special ability cards you have, and of course, if you set up something that isn't completely random, the narrative you can build around the zone, around the city, around the region. If you're familiar at all with the comic books, I think, and even if you're not, but I think you can totally see and find those elements of inspiration, elements of storytelling, elements of theme. Now, for me, and I haven't played the campaign yet, so that would be a caveat. For me, the one thing I would love more in this would be a more built out, a more fully established narrative journey. I would just love to see the adventure, right? The journey that you're on, the reason you read comic books, or the reason you dive into movies is for that fall, that rebuild, that action, and I'd love more of that, even though I feel like this gives me a satisfactory amount.
Yep, so you're looking more towards that campaign of getting this group of characters and going through, where I like the one-off, hey, today it's Spider-Man, and tomorrow it's the Hulk's place, and
Yep.
So it does have that mix.
Accessibility. How easy is this to get to the table? Have you ran into anything that might keep it from getting off the shelf very easily?
If you get everything at once and try to play it all at once, that could be an issue.
There's a lot here. I mean, the full Kickstarter pledge is a pile of stuff, and learning, even though it's simple,
Yes.
learning characters, learning new modular things, just getting everything organized and structured, and especially if you're packing it all into a box or two instead of keeping that spread out across 8 different boxes.
Yes, that's my plan, but we'll see how that gets
Yeah.
condensed down. But yeah, I mean, getting it to the table with just the core box, that's what I played the most with.
Yep.
It's easy to break it out. Hey, here's your 8 characters.
Yep.
Who do you want to play? The rules, I mean, it's very simple. The villain's going to have a card that's going to tell you, is he going to move? His base card's going to tell you a BAM ability. You just read the text. And then on our turn, draw a card, play a card. There's 4 icons. So it's laid out very easily.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this is it's not... It has a lot of decision making in the complexity of the puzzle you're solving. But what you're really doing is triggering and engaging 4 different icons, one after another. A few special abilities,
Yep.
and then trying to figure out where to spend those.
Yeah,
Move,
so it seems
punch,
simple.
hero action, wild.
Yep. But trying to coordinate those things between your other players is like, well, I need to move over here, but I don't have any movement cards. Can you help me with a movement so you've got that interaction going?
I think this is a really accessible game overall. I can teach someone how to play this in 5 minutes, and we can be up and running.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the age range that's actually on the game. Where do you feel, and you're a father yourself, I'm not yet, I just have a herd of ducks.
Yes.
Where do you feel like this would be an appropriate place to play in your own experience?
Yeah, I mean, it says 14 and up. Like I said, there is strategy in this
Sure.
game. But I feel like, I mean, with the parent they are explaining, this is what this text means. They can pick up a card and play a card, and you can say, we're really looking for this symbol.
Yeah.
Do you have any cards that can help with that? So I think probably around 10-ish maybe.
Yeah, I would even say I could see this playing younger. If you have a child that's grown up playing board games, that enjoys the experience, is able to sit and concentrate. I mean, it's a 30 to 45 minute game, so the window is not too heavy. And as long as you have a parent there that's able to help guide and give a hand, I could see this going as a pretty accessible, pretty young game overall.
Yeah, and with the core game, it's fairly simple.
And I'm talking about core there. I mean, when
yeah.
you start mixing in expansions and modules and making a puzzle that's difficult for us to solve, you start getting into a situation where maybe the age range has to creep up there a little bit.
Yeah, or a little bit more analysis paralysis might. We played rather quick and dirty.
We did.
And sometimes you pay the price for that, and sometimes you get lucky.
Hey, listen.
No spoilers though,
Listen.
right?
Now, talking about the gameplay. This isn't a section that's talking about how to play or what the gameplay is like. This is a section where we're talking about, for us, what elements of the gameplay might make this right for you or wrong for you. Where does this shine, and where does it kind of let you down?
To me, if you're not a comic book person, this is probably not a game for you.
It's probably standard. I mean, that's pretty obvious from the entire thing.
Cooperative. This is a fully cooperative game with some hidden.
X-Men will change that, but right now this is a fully cooperative game. Yes.
Yeah. So you've got to. So if you're a very competitive person, probably not for you. But if you like a quick game, get to the table, cooperative with your friends, quick and easy. Well, I won't say quick and easy decisions, but should be quick and easy gameplay. I think this will fit along. Or just to have that game on the shelf as friends come over. Hey, we need. What game do you have? You can play in 30 to 45 minutes as a starter.
What might make this game wrong for you? Is there areas that, for yourself personally, that you're not the biggest fan of so far that you've seen?
It might be too simple for some people.
Sure.
But I think with expansions and what I've heard for X-Men, that's going to boost up. So to me, this was a starting point with a level of complexity that's going to come.
I think that'd be my crux as well. I absolutely enjoy this game. I enjoy the cooperative play. I like the fact that I feel like we're all working together and no one's telling me what to do. I've enjoyed all the different puzzles, but I'm going to be honest. I would give maybe the base game, if we're going like, let's do rough numbers, I'd give the base game like a 6 out of 10.
I'd be around there too, yeah.
But if you're putting in the expansions for me, you're getting up into the 7.5, 8s easily. And I haven't even played all of them, so I don't even know how messy and weird this gets. But for me, it's all about the opportunity to scale this. I wouldn't go to Walmart and pick up the base game off the shelf for myself and for my gaming group. It's too simple. It doesn't have enough staying power. It doesn't have the complexity and the longevity that I want out of it. And I'm already 7 or 8 games in. I've already seen everything I need from that base game, which is a criticism. It's good. I mean, if you're paying $30, which we'll get to, if you're paying $30 for a game and you're playing 7 to 10 times,
Yeah, to me, that's $30 well spent.
That's
30.
30.
Me.
Yes. However, from my side of things, that would be where the base game leaves.
Right.
This is where it starts to shine.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've been. All of this stuff coming in is what I've been excited for the rest of the world to experience and to get their teeth into. Because I love doing the random mixing, grabbing a stack of cards and figuring out who you're going to be this time, what villain you're playing, what narrative you're going, putting the tiles down in any sort of order, and just going with it.
Yep.
And the fact that it stands up there, that everything is cross-compatible. I can mix and match and swing modules, and it might be a bit of a broken game, but I don't think it'll be impossible. I don't think you could you could build this in a way that shatters the entire experience.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I think that's going to be my favorite mode to play. I mean, yes, I like the theme games, but I like the madness too of going. Why is
what's
Howard
happening?
the Duck teaming up with Spider-Ham? You know.
And so I think the simplicity of it is the thing when it comes to gameplay that would keep me from owning that core box at this point. However, I think the depth and complexity of all the expansions is the thing that makes this a undeniable, instant back or instant support or instant own. And I didn't expect much from this game. I'm going to be honest. I saw the commercial, I saw the chibi art style, I saw there's a lot to it that's screaming lightweight family game.
Yep.
And Simon does a lot of great games, but some of their games aren't right for me, which is fine. That's the whole point of this series. I wasn't expecting that this one would be right for me.
And I was leery about going all in for that reason. Simon, I almost auto back most of their stuff.
It's usually a good back.
It's a problem, and my friends know I have issues. So, but yeah, I heard they were doing a Marvel game. I'm all in before I even found out what it was. Then I saw the artwork, and I was like, but I am glad I have it now.
Modes of play. This plays core box right now. Plays, I believe, 1 to 4. Is it 2 to 4? Okay. Have you done any of the solo yet?
Yes, I have done a solo.
Experience on the solo, since this is such a cooperative experience. How did that? I mean, you're a solo player. You do a lot of different solo games. Did it stand up at all?
Basically, what you're doing is you're taking 3 heroes, shuffling those decks together. So you're losing the cooperative nature, which happens a lot because the game got easier because now I have got 3 heroes worth of cards in my hand.
Sure.
So I can pick and choose how I'm going to play versus when we play a 3-player game, I'm sitting here with 1 hero going, well, I know what I can do, which is nothing. I really need that guy to help me out. So it does make it easier, but it's nice to have that mode.
Are you going to continue playing this solo?
Probably not.
No.
I might pick one expansion just for the channel to do a quick playthrough and go, hey, this is how Spider-Man works by himself.
But for you, this is a cooperative.
Yeah,
this is an experience.
We want a light game that we can just sit and laugh for a second and get ready for something else.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I have no desire to play this one solo. It's not why I bring it to the channel. It's not why I bring it. It's probably not that it's bad. I think some people, especially gamers that just like a mechanical puzzle, could get probably a decent amount from it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go as deep and doesn't compete with the other solo games that I have on hand. I mean, Champions would be an obvious example of a game that just provides more individual depth for a solo comic book experience, where this one, it's just not supposed to compete there. It's supposed to compete in the cooperative region, though. So let's talk about that 3 to 4, or that 2 to 4 range. Where have you played it? Because I've played it all the player counts.
Now I played it 2, 3, and 4 now.
Okay. Impressions of that. Where did it work? Where any elements that didn't feel like they flowed?
I think they all work the best. I think it was harder with the 4-player version, just because the villain might go twice before you go once.
Sure.
In that kind of type of scenario.
Yeah, because villain's always triggering every 3 or every 2, and so there is a chance that the villain will go.
Yep. So you're just sitting here, and if you're in the wrong spot, you just took 5 damage because you didn't have a turn to get out of the way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But 2 and 3 seem to be the best. From what
I've
seen.
I have really liked it all player counts. I like 4 because you're paired up. Everyone's paired up in a different way with a different person. 3 does the same thing. So 3, you're working with me, and I'm working with another person. So we're not just going back and forth. We're reliant on that circle a little bit more. I think for me, 3 would be my favorite player count. 2 is fine. 2 is solid. But I think for me, 3 and then 4. 4 would be my second favorite player count. and I'd have no problem. I'd have no hesitation to get this to the table with 4.
Yeah, 2 to 4 is where it stands, and I'd prefer 3, but I'll play it at any.
And with X-Men, because I keep bringing it up because it's coming, they're introducing 5 players with a 1 versus many mode. They're also introducing teams, which I believe goes up to 6 players because you could do a 3-on-3 team mode.
Okay.
And so...
And more villains that can be played as heroes, because I think right now
Yes.
Venom is the only one that can be a villain and a hero.
And more of that. So there's... I don't know. I'm liking all player counts above 1. I think 6 would be a little bit overwhelming. You got so much going on, but here's the thing: when you're playing 6 players, you'd be playing in your own individual rows because it's a team play. So it'd be like 2 separate groups of 3s playing around the board.
Okay.
So, innovation. Does this innovate? Is it innovate? If it is, why or how? If it isn't, does it matter?
I don't think it's too innovative. I mean, basically you've got locations around in a circle. You're moving to an adjacent space to stop threat or beat up thugs. We've seen the comic book theme before, but the way they've worked it together with playing the circle of your cards around the board with, I'm going to play this to help me and you on your turn, plus what happened previously, I'm picking up on those actions.
You think that might be a little innovative?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I cannot get away from the fact that there are 4 icons in this game. I don't know how they did that. And one of them's a wild.
Yes, so about 3 that you're using in the one.
I don't know how they designed a game that is this good, with this much content, with as much strategy and depth and enough to make me and you both feel rewarded. And we're heavier gamers. I mean, I've put on 30 pounds this last year. I've definitely a heavier gamer. I don't know how they did that and kept things feeling interesting, fresh, heroes feeling, new, villains feeling customized.
Yep.
And there's only still 3 icons, maybe 4 icons in this game.
Yeah, and when you look at the cards, they all look very similar, but each villain definitely plays totally different just because that simple thing, hey, we're going to put Bam here, reference their card. Yeah. It's going to do something totally different.
Not just the villains, the heroes don't feel all the same.
Right.
The heroes feel unique.
They have their few cards that, yes.
They have a few that make them stand out, and they really change the game. I don't know that it's innovation necessarily. Other games have been simple. Other games have used limited iconography. I would say, though, if anywhere in this game for me bridged into innovative in terms of my experience with board games, it would be that. It would be the depth and complexity they've introduced into this title with such a limited roster of things to learn, such an accessible game system, and the fact that they can expand it from expansion to expansion to expansion. And I feel like every one of these expansions is necessary from my experience of the game. To me, that's shocking. I've been confused about that since day 1 of playing this. So, last thing.
Money?
Money. Price point. What are we talking? What are we looking at? What makes sense here? And is it a reasonable price for what we're getting?
I was shocked that for the core game, for $30, you're getting a full game system with some excellent miniatures.
I mean,
so even if you don't care about the game, if you like painting minis to have something cool on your shelf behind you,
a pile of miniatures.
Yes.
And they're all the classic CMON, good quality plastic, nice quality sculpts. I mean, they're awesome. If you like Marvel, they're awesome miniatures.
Yes, and they've even made all the bases are different, so that's a big thing. I know a lot of painters are kind of like, it's usually just a
straight
flat base and with feet connected, but each miniature has their own terrain they're on, different poses. Yeah,
I think $30 for the base game, I think is worth it, but I don't think it stays in my collection. I think I gift it to someone fairly quickly, after I play it 5-6 times. The $200 for the all-in, probably nowadays it'd be $250 to $300 if you were buying it post Kickstarter. With X-Men coming up, I know they're going to have everything available. I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking at $350, maybe $400 for a complete collection.
Yeah, for
and
all
I don't
the
know those.
exclusives.
I don't know those numbers, so just in case you're wondering if I have behind-the-scenes information, I have no idea. I'm just speculating on all the stuff you might be able to get access to. I think it's a lot to spend on a game. I think it's worth it, personally, yes. But I think it's a lot to spend on a game.
Yeah,
I think it's a big decision.
Cooperative and light Marvel comic book characters, this probably right up your alley.
What I would honestly suggest to people is I would advise them to pick up base game plus an expansion or something, if any of those are available. If they're able to, like, if they have a friend that has it, figure out a way to experience base game plus. And that'll give you enough information to determine if you're ready to go all in crazy. Because I didn't back the original. It just didn't seem like quite the game for me until I started producing, because the very first videos we did on Marvel United was post Kickstarter. And so I was never sold on this till after the Kickstarter wave was over. And now that I've played the amount of times I've played, this is one that I will have in my collection. This is one that I really genuinely, I just enjoy. I really do.
Well, cool. That's nice to hear. I know you had fun playing it.
Yeah, I had a blast playing it. So, here's the last thing we're going to do. In honor of Board Game Co., he started doing numbers at the end of his videos.
Okay.
People seem to
like
it.
Making up numbers? Okay.
Well, we're going to make up numbers. I do rating scales based off of bourbons. And for me, I mean, how many bourbons could I have? And when does you cross that line where the bourbons stop being fun with the game? Base game for me is a 2 out of 5 bourbons. I'd be playing it with my family. I don't want to get too weird along the way. It's good. I enjoy 2 bourbons. It's a good night, but it's not the best night I've ever had, right? I think with all the expansions, with the mess, with what we did yesterday, I think this for me is a 5 out of 5 bourbons. All the way from 1 to 5 bourbons. Every single glass, I would re-experience the game in a new way, and I would enjoy it the whole way through, all 5 of them. That's my rating scale.
Yes. And since I'm not a bourbon drinker...
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going with pizzas, I guess.
Sounds good. How many pizzas? Yeah.
Yes.
Or how many
slices?
slices?
For the base game, yes. After 3 slices, base game, yeah, I've probably had enough.
You're good. Yeah.
But yes, sitting
it's
wild
a family
with
meal.
just...
You got to have some extra slices of pizza to share with the family.
Yeah.
Playing maybe 1, maybe 2 sessions.
And I still need to stay awake afterwards.
Yeah.
But yes, the way we played it the other night, where it was just total chaos.
You taking the whole pizza
mixing
down?
Everything.
What are you doing?
Yes, I think I'm eating the whole pizza on it. I mean,
awesome.
I've spent the money on this. I call games quickly.
Yeah.
I have limited shelf space.
Well, now would be the time to call it if it wasn't right for you.
Yes, and
you want to try to sell it to any of my audience right now?
No, I've already thrown away some of the packaging, so I can condense down. So yes,
you're preparing for the long haul.
I'm gonna try to take those 10 boxes and make them 2 to 3. So.
Oh, it's painful. Oh, it's painful. Derek Funkhauser says he's going to get it into 1, but it's bizarre. I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. Either way, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This series is coming back soon, very soon. Now, I suppose.
Yes, it's...
Whatever the case, whatever you do, make sure you do the important thing. Swing over to Dale the Casual Gamer, link down below, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.